Sue here, back to my channel. Alright guys, welcome to part 2 of high-end versus low-end. Today, once again, I'll be comparing these high-end, expensive-ass products with their dupes. I'll tell you which ones I think are worth it, worth their money and time, because we are all busy. We ain't got no time for no crap. So, without further ado, let's get this video started. Hallelujah. I don't know why I started singing like that. I don't know. I just felt like I had. So first up, I have these two watery oil products, both looking very, very similar to each other, right? One I have from Guerlain. This is the Youth Watery Oil. And then the other one I have is from Dalba. This is the Prestige Watery Oil. Obviously, we can tell that Dalba just made this product to be a dupe for the Guerlain one. So I thought, why not compare? Both have the same concept of being a watery oil that you apply on before your serum and supposed to help you give that very glow. So let's take a look at the Guerlain one first. It is bougie and must have said this was hella expensive. Oh my gosh. Even though I did get this as PR, damn, when I checked the price points, it hurt. It literally hurt. In the States, this is a 30 ml. It costs $95. Although I will say in Korea, it is sold at a price so much higher, which is really, really weird. Even when you take into account the exchange rate, she hella expensive in Korea. So, anywho. So, the Guerlain Youth Watery Oil prides itself in using these honeys from the black bees from the island of Wassant, which is an island in northern France, of course, which was chosen by UNESCO as being one of the very cleanest preserved areas, 청정지역, of course. And so basically the honey that they used is basically really untouched, very, very pure, I guess, very just from nature without any interference from men whatsoever. And they also use 3 different types of honey from all different areas, including Corsica, of course. And this has Guerlain exclusive royal jelly, of course. And inside the product, you can see these little beads, and these little beads contain all those honey and oil. And so once you plop it out of the bottle and you apply it on, these beads will melt and release all of that oil, all of that honey, all of that nutrients, all of that goodness. Now, one thing I was very impressed by was that the fact that honey and royal jelly was pretty high up in the ingredient list. They were like 6 and 7. Sometimes y'all know with these expensive ass ingredients, sometimes they can be found at the bottom of the ingredient list, which I'm not too thrilled about, to be honest. Moving on to the Dalba one. Now, the Dalba, even though it looks very, very similar, actually is composed of way different ingredients. First of all, this one contains 3 different types of vegetable oils, including Bixauriana seed oil, sunflower seed oil, and soybean oil. And of course, Dalba really prides themselves in using white truffle extract, which, to be honest, they do use a very, very small amount. And they've included tocopherol and vitamin E. So it's packed with all of these other different types of ingredients. Now, moving on to how they feel, because girl, that is very, very important. Now, even though they look very similar, as you use them, you realize they feel nothing like each other. First off, with the Guerlain one, because it has those oil beads, oh my gosh, the formulation is beautiful. It starts out as a watery one, and then as the beads pop, it will turn into this really, really nice oily formulation. And I gotta say, guys, this oil feels so, so light. Remember how I used to describe the Rovectin skin barrier repair oil? Like how I mentioned that it was like the lightest, fast absorbing oil that I ever used. I take that back. I'm sorry, Rovectin, but I think this is what we're talking about when we say a light oil. Oh my gosh, the oil that you can feel in this product is so, so light, and it just gives you that hint of oiliness, just that refreshing. This is the definition of when you say you've nourished your skin. It hydrates and gives you a little bit of that oil fat content that your skin might need, especially if you have dehydrated or dry skin type. However, it does not feel oily at all. You do not feel any kind of residue on top, and it just feels like your skin's really absorbed everything in. And wow, I look really, really, the screen looks just too bright. I'm sorry, guys. Whereas with the Dalba one, even though it's called a watery oil, I honestly throughout the 2 months that I've been testing out all these products, I couldn't feel any of that oil content. It just felt really, really watery. And because these beads are not oil beads, but they're vitamin beads, obviously it didn't give the same formulation that the Guerlain one has. This honestly just feels like a watery essence, to be honest. That's it. That's all I got from this. In conclusion, if I had to pick one, this was such a difficult one because y'all know I can't stand the idea of a skincare product being this highly priced. But at the same time, y'all know I really do appreciate really good technology incorporated in skincare products. So I was definitely on the fence. But if you're excluding the price point, the Guerlain wins categorically for sure. Because honestly, this was nothing like it. I will say though, the capsules feel a little rough against my very sensitive cheeks. So I do melt it down between my hands and then apply it, but it works just as great. However, I will say I will not get it in Korea. It's so overly priced in Korea. I probably get this on duty free or maybe ask a friend in the States to get it for me there because it's so much more cheaper there. So I don't know what's up with that Guerlain Korea tea. Moving on to a set of very, very popular skincare products, and it is these two. Yes! First, I have the EsteeLauder Advanced Night Repair, and then the Missha Time Revolution Night Repair Ampoule. I do believe they have a newer generation of this one, but this one was the one I had, and so I tested this one. Both of them pride themselves in having the bifida fermented ingredients, and also both have that same brown formulation. Let's take a more detailed look at both of these, shall we? So starting off with the EsteeLauder, I know this is their 7th generation. They've come a very long way, and I know that with their newer generation, they really focused on making sure that the formula absorbs really, really fast. And like I said, you get this brownish formulation. And even though at first glance, it feels kind of normal, however, as you use it, you'll be so taken away by how fast absorbing it is. Like I said, all you need to do is just give it a good 2 taps, 2 wipes, and you're done. It absorbs by itself. You don't have to do all that tapping motion, which I think is really, really great. It saves a lot of time in the morning, first off. For the finish, I've noticed that it doesn't particularly leave your skin looking glowy or dewy, but your skin definitely does feel refreshed and hydrated. So I didn't necessarily feel the need to use another product like an additional serum. It just fitted fine. It suited fine for my skin. Moving on to the Missha one. Now, likewise, like I said, this also has a brownish formula. And although this is definitely a serum that I do enjoy on the regular, when comparing to the EsteeLauder bottle specifically, you feel that definitely this one kind of dwells on top, and even the formulation feels a lot more diluted, I guess, with water, whereas this one feels very concentrated. This one definitely, you can feel more of that body to it. And as for the finish, this one likewise also makes your skin recharge, and it also leaves you with that gleam of shine and dewiness at the end. In conclusion, with these two products, I actually go for either one of them. Yes, I go for both. Yes, the EsteeLauder has a more advanced and refined formulation, but honestly, that's what is expected given its price point, you know? And although the Missha one does feel a bit more diluted, I honestly wouldn't be mad using this one. This one is actually one of the ampoules that I do use on the regular. And so I guess at the end of the day with these two, it kind of depends on your budget, how your budget looks like, and what is your taste. However, one thing I'd like to say, especially if you're in your 20s, early 20s, teens, early 20s, mid 20s, if you're in that age range, I do not recommend using this product. As a matter of fact, I don't recommend you guys to use any of the high-end products because your skin condition, the level of where your skin condition is dominantly higher than what any of these high-end products can offer you. So enjoy your youth. And I can say this for sure because I have actually used a lot of high-end products when I was just 20 or like 21, 22, I can't remember. And I remember honestly feeling like this doesn't do anything for me. Obviously, if you have found something in the high-end range that does work for you, that's great. Stick to it. Bravo. Good for you. But I'm talking about on a whole, if you're in that age range, you probably have something that that even the most high-end skincare brands with this highest technology cannot even offer. So guys, don't feel bad about not being able to use, you know, Chanel or EsteeLauder. You all have something that money can't buy. So boom, that's a piece of $1 million advice right there. Enjoy your youth. Next, moving on to these big-ass moisturizers. Yes, well, I have the one from Kiehls. This is their Ultra Facial Cream, and I have the Cetaphil. This is a moisturizing cream for body and face. Let's start with the Kiehls one. I know that they reformulated their formulation so it doesn't feel as sticky and heavy as it used to be. I remember like I was in my 20s once again, early 20s. I used the Kiehls. I had oily skin back then and I hated it. It felt so pasty. But now that I'm older and I have drier skin type, this doesn't feel as pasty. And I don't know if that's due to the reformulation or the change in my skin or both. Anyways, they claim that this is their #1 moisturizer and they formulate it with squalane and glycerin, and it's supposed to help your skin barrier and also provide moisture for 24 hours. I will say this though, considering that their name is their Ultra Facial Cream, their cream doesn't feel as heavy. Like, it just feels like a regular normal cream in terms of when we're looking at the spectrum of how heavy a cream texture is. Even though this is very moisturizing, I didn't feel it to be particularly greasy. Like, I know there are a lot of creams out there that just give you more of that fat content. This one, I feel like it's kind of like 60% on the spectrum. Like, it leans towards a heavier one, but it's not too heavy. And one thing I will say about the formulation is that it blends out really, really nicely. It absorbs really nice. Moving on to the Cetaphil one. This one was so hard for me to test out because it kept freezing in my room. So I like to, on the whole, keep my room a bit on the cooler side, even during the winter. I don't like stuffy air, if you guys know what I mean. And because of the low temperature, this kept hardening and it was impossible for me to actually try it out. It kept freezing. So what I resorted to do is use a sample size. So this one is what I've been testing out with. Was not very happy about this, to be honest. So that's one thing I've definitely noticed about the quality difference. With the Kiehls one, it never hardened up. In terms of the ingredients, the Cetaphil one, instead of squalane, it uses almond oil and also petrolatum. Petrolatum, yes. Hey guys, just want to pop in and talk about the finish of the formulation. So the Cetaphil one definitely feels a bit more stiff to work with. I feel like the Kiehls has a bit more of that oil content, so it feels a lot lubricating and a lot easier to blend out. Obviously, the Kiehls one might feel a bit greasy for some people now that I think about it, whereas the Cetaphil feels like a nice, just like a good solid moisturizing cream. Also, I just want to mention that both do a pretty good thorough job of moisturizing your face, and as a matter of fact, at the end I couldn't really tell a difference between these two. In conclusion, with these two products, honestly guys, I wouldn't go for either one of them. First off, with the Kiehls, yes, the formulation does blend out nicely, it does absorb fast, but I can think of so many other affordable creams out there that perform equally, if not better, than this one, especially ones that have both squalane and glycerin. And with the Cetaphil one, likewise, I just pay a little bit more and buy something that works better and comes in a tube packaging, because honestly, I'm not a big fan of these tubs. Last but not least, I have these two products, base products, and yes, one is from Chanel. This is the Blanc Le Buzz, and I have one from Estee. This is their Peach Skin Fitting Base. Both are supposed to help brighten up your complexion, correct it, and give that long-lasting radiance. So let's take a deeper look at these, shall we? First, starting off with the Chanel base. This base is nothing like I've ever used. It starts out as a liquid type and it instantly transforms into a powdery one, and the rate of that transformation is unbelievably fast. It's like whoosh. And also, one of the most aggravating things about using toner creams is how sticky the formulation is. Ugh, I hate it so much. But this one, honestly, doesn't feel that sticky. It actually just leaves a nice powdery finish behind. And I gotta say, guys, it's been a while since I've been impressed by formulation. So this did take me by surprise, and I could see why this was so popular. This is actually one of the most popular Chanel products in Korea. After you finish blending this out, it just gives you a really light sheer layer of that brightness. It's very, very subtle. Honestly, I think with some people who are looking for a boom, like an obvious tone up, they will be very, very disappointed by this. And so please bear that in mind. It just feels like you have really good lighting. It's not as if like you've obviously put on something, but it's like, there's something about you that, you know, your complexion looks bright, but it's done in a very, very sophisticated, subtle way. Now let's take a look at the Espoir one. Now, I want to say one disclaimer though. This Espoir toner cream is a really, really great one, especially when comparing it to the other affordable ones. I think that they did an excellent job, and it just feels less tacky and less difficult to work with. However, the type of formulation that you get with this product, it feels like the regular type of formulations you can find in the affordable ones, meaning the formulation feels like a batter of flour. Whereas with the Chanel one, it honestly feels more of like a liquid mousse type that dries down really fast. This one, definitely you can feel the liquidy formulation dwelling on top a little bit more. As for the finish, the Espoir one does give you more of that obvious tone-up effect, and the finish isn't as powdery as a Chanel one, I will say. It feels a bit more hydrating in the sense that it feels more stickier than the Chanel one, but it will definitely give you more of that obvious glow up effect. In conclusion, with these two ones, this one was such a difficult decision to make just because I really did enjoy both of them. Oh, this is hard. To be honest, usually with the other ones, I make up my mind and then I film. This one, I couldn't make up my mind till the end, and it's because with these two ones, these feel like complete different product categories, should I say, and that's why it's hard for me to make that decision. So hard. Oh my gosh. But I have to go with the Chanel one just because this is such a convenient product to use as well. Like I said, because the rate of how fast the formulation like settles down is superior. And so I feel like I could still manage to get a lot of usages out of this. Like I would use this in the busy mornings. I'll use this before I do my makeup, etc., etc. Whereas this one, it does take a little bit more time. This one was a hard one. Oh my gosh. So I feel like, okay, I guess it just comes down to the question, if I ran out of these two, which one would I actually repurchase? And the answer that I had was the Chanel one. So this one, both are excellent though, just putting that out there. All right guys, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you guys want to see a part 3 and you guys want me to test out a specific high-end product, let me know in the comments down below and I'll get to it right away. All right, make sure to give this a thumbs up and I'll see you guys in my next. Ciao!